Good morning!
Hi, sisters!
I wanted to try, this is why I can never be like a perfect influencer or, you know, I just do not connect with people that have a perfect image. And I, in fact, think that like the more perfect your image is, the more crap you're probably hiding, but who knows? Could just be a self-report. But anyway, just made this chocolate coffee. It had oat milk, like chocolate oat milk. I used cocoa powder. I used that Exerthol sweetener. Sorry, I'm still waking up. Which will probably be recalled. So eat it at your own risk. I think that's pretty much it. I put a little bit of cinnamon in there just because that's my go-to, but I kind of regret it. I think if you're gonna stick to chocolate, you should stick to chocolate, but I like cinnamon a little bit too much. And then I have a little bit of Greek yogurt, flax seeds, chia seeds, cashews, cinnamon, honey, and blueberries. I use the total 0% Greek yogurt, but it's interchangeable. I just really like that brand because there's no like additives or anything, but totally your prerogative. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls wear the same outfits in every video and believe in saving the planet. Nah. I mean, I do, but that's not when I'm wearing the same outfit. I just always wear the same outfits. My last video got taken down for sex and nudity.
Really?
Which, I don't know, I'll have to do some research. I might have to bleep those out, but bro, it was a leggings try on. That's kind of why I haven't been incentivized to create any more content recently, because what the just woke up. Skin is doing a lot better. I have some vlogs I need to edit, but kind of just feeling uninspired and unmotivated, to be completely honest. Skin, though, like I said, doing a lot better. It was kind of a wreck, but kind of wanted to eat breakfast this morning. Hopefully my camera has enough storage. I'm recording on my iPhone right now. Apparently I have to record in horizontal though, so half the footage that I already recorded this morning is probably going to be trash. But good news is I got a tripod for my actual camera, so assuming I can figure out the logistics of all of that, I will have some good camera footage coming to you shortly.
Oh my god! Wow!
I want to talk about body image. It's kind of been something I've been struggling with a lot lately. Need something to revive me. I feel tired today. Haven't been sleeping the best. I guess trigger warning. We're going to be talking about ED, body dysmorphia, mental health stuff, because I've found that like pretty much anything addiction, mental health, ED stuff, all of that goes hand in hand. And I don't know if spending a bunch of alone time during COVID, I mean currently working from home, all of that has only heightened that for me, or if I don't know what caused me to like, it's like so obvious to me now. So I guess I just kind of wanted to have a frank conversation around body image, influencer, culture, mental health. I had like a dream about this and needing to talk about it. So that's what we're gonna do today. So stay tuned. Might have seconds, we'll see, but that's what today's video is about. Hopefully you stick with me. Hello! I'm back.
Okay.
Got a little bit more Greek yogurt. Wanted to talk. So, I guess flash backward to the start of my body image issues. It's gonna get kind of personal. This whole video is gonna be very personal. So, growing up, my mom had, she grew up in an age, you know, where fad diets were even more popular. I was actually talking to her about this fairly recently. She said there was one point right after she had me that she had gained some weight which it's messed up that we expect women to just snap back into their before bodies postpartum. Like it's all really sad, and I can imagine. I don't have a kid of my own, but as I've gotten a little older, I've kind of understood more of that and how women go through such a deep depression, and on top of that, like there's so many unrealistic body standards, and not to mention, like, for a lot of women, they feel like they lose their identity in being a mother. Like, I think we as a society view women that are mothers as just mothers rather than their own individual person. So I'm sure my mom was going through that too when she had me. But she had put on some weight, and she said she remembered like looking in the mirror or something and reflecting on that and being like, I gotta do something about this. So she went into this one random spot, like hole in the wall place it sounds like, and they put her on a 500 calorie diet per day. And she said that she was talking to the doctor. She went in, and I guess there was like a doctor there, and the doctor had said, like, pretty much said, like, you've got to do something about this, you know, like, just because you have health issues or just because you have X, Y, and Z doesn't mean that you stop trying, is what the doctor said. And my mom's like, obviously I'm not here to stop trying. I'm here, bro. Like, that's why I'm here, is to get help, you know? So she got put on a 500 calorie diet, got shots in her butt, like B12 shots. But she had been, you know, crash dieting since, I didn't realize this until recently, but she had been crash dieting since like she was in 9th or 10th grade. So a little context there. I think ED in general and body issues is way more normalized and way more, I think a lot of people have it and don't look into it or don't even know. With that being said, my mom kind of had crash diet my entire life. I mean, not my entire life, but a good portion of it. My parents are together, but they went through a phase where, like any couple, probably because of a lot of the stuff that was happening in our lives, they kind of had some issues, you know, which is completely normal. But in my tiny ape brain, I chalked up my mom being a little overweight to all of their marriage issues, which is messed up of me, you know, but I was like 6 or 7. So this idea of smallness and desirability was really instilled in me, and I don't know how, from the age of 6. And I think that's the case for a lot of girls, maybe even men. So, flash forward, I was in a long-term, very unhealthy relationship. Obviously with self-reflection and therapy and everything else because of a lot of the things that I've been through. Neither of us were perfect. We both have or had a lot of issues. But a lot of the things that happened in that relationship really caused me to have body image issues. And I think that's the case for a lot of, again, I can only speak from the female experience, women experience. I don't want to sound like an incel. Females really messed with me, you know. And then around that time, I had my first, I've been, this is gonna get into some deep stuff. Sorry guys, trigger warning, essay. But I had experienced like my second essay around that time period too. So that kind of affected me too. It was a photographer. At that point I was trying to get into modeling pretty heavily. This was before I had like a platform at all. And this photographer is a local guy. He's in Chicago. He's still probably doing photography under the guise of trying to help me get signed and make me comfortable with my body. He wanted me to shoot in ways that I was not comfortable with. And so we were alone. Never shoot alone if you can prohibit it or like stop it. Obviously, like there's a hierarchy in every field to where like you almost have to serve your time. It's like the equivalent of like somebody going and getting coffee for everybody else in the office. It's like a pecking order, unfortunately. Unless you have wealth and status and power, you're gonna get abused, essentially, is what it feels like. And I came from such a different world, you know. I was born and raised super hyper religious, so I didn't know left from right. Anyway, flash forward, this guy, under the guise of trying to help me become more comfortable in my own skin and get me signed or whatever. He put me in compromising position. I was alone, and then he tried to essay me, and I pushed him off of me. It was like a whole thing. But anyway, I don't know how much I can say on camera, and I have podcasts about it. If you want to hear more details, I called him out on social media. I went to the cops. Nothing was done. I had like bruises on me. It was a mess. So anyway, nonchalant. That messed me up a little bit. I think I'm still dealing with that, even though it's been several years. I mean, in this industry in general, it hides a lot of creeps. And I didn't want to believe it at the time when friends or family or whatever would say stuff like that, because I felt like they were just against me. And at that time, I felt really low about myself. And so I figured, okay, like if I got acceptance from a field that, you know, is supposed to be the epitome of beauty, that will somehow validate my experiences that made me feel completely ugly and disgusting and unlovable and unwanted. And so I pushed forward in the industry. I have a disco ball. That's kind of cool. I have a disco ball, so the light's kind of shining. But anyway, flash forward. One of my first viral pictures on Instagram was me in a crop top, small waist. At that point, I think I was vegan, which that was a whole nother. I think that's what really spiraled me into my full blown, like, I don't know what I would call it. I don't want to call myself, you know, I don't want to say that I have a certain thing, because like I think there are people that are struggling far more with body image issues than I will, or that I do. But I also just want to be like completely honest, because I feel like a lot of people get on here or anywhere and sugarcoat for fear of exposing too much about their life. Because I think there's a little bit of fear that, like, you know, if you get on here and you expose your life and people start to think they know you, and they do, they know you to an extent, but it's not, you know, I think you get what I'm saying. So anyway, first viral picture, me in a crop top, went viral. At that point I was pretty small. I think I was vegan. I started, this was back when Freely the Banana Girl, all these people that were doing like Raw Till 4, if you're familiar with that community at all, like I was doing that. I think there's a strong correlation between like cult mindsets, because I grew up, I would define it in a cult, and then like also other strong deviations. I haven't looked into the psychology behind it, but I have an inclination that goes hand in hand. I could talk more about it. But anyway, so got out of all the religious stuff, started doing modeling, got essayed, was in a toxic relationship, and then started going vegan. And like Raw Till 4, it wasn't just like your normal veganism. Like Raw Till 4 is where you only eat raw fruits and vegetables until 4 p.m. and then you can have cooked food. There's a lot of weird things. I don't know. I don't see it working for a lot of people. I think it's extremely limiting and restrictive. I don't think it's good. But if it works for you, I guess kudos to you. But did that for a few months. I was starving all the time. I was trying to get skinnier because I would go to the agencies and they would be like, oh, you know, you're not that tall and you need to lose, you know, inches off your hips or, you know, whatever. And it's so stupid because like half of this is just bone, you know, like what am I supposed to do, bro? Shave it down? So I did Raw Till 4. I was vegan for probably maybe a little over a year, give or take. During that time, I lost a good amount of hair, which is something I feel like vegans don't talk about. Like I tried to do a lot of research, and at least at that time, it was almost like another cult in the sense of like, especially the more extreme versions like Raw Till 4 or whatever, where you felt like you couldn't speak out about your health issues. Like it was supposed to be such a healthy, loving, supportive community that was like pro animal rights and all this other stuff and like supposed to be super good for you. But there was no conversation around maybe the cons of doing it. And so I would do all this research and, you know, there was very little that said that my symptoms were like correlated with veganism or whatever. So I kept going, you know, I I'd watched Cowspiracies once. I just went to like the grocery store and stocked up on a bunch of like meat and stuff, and the documentary was so touching that I went into my fridge that morning and like threw away everything and converted, you know? So tried to make it work and it just did not work. I was losing hair left and right, stressed, you know, my skin was kind of crappy, which is crazy. They always say like dairy and stuff. I mean, it's for some people maybe that's true, but like it just wasn't working for me. I was taking like all of these, you know, not gonna get into it. It just didn't work for me at that time. But I had lost a decent amount of weight. Okay, I'm back. My camera went, well, my storage was messed up on my iPhone, so, because I record all of my other content for all my other socials on it, so I had to go through and delete a bunch of videos. But anyway, I was saying I went vegan, and then after that, it just wasn't working out for me health-wise, and then I stopped doing that, and at that time, I started working out, but I felt really awkward, like at the gym, and I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but I just felt like I didn't belong. Even though I was like smaller, I felt like I did not belong in the gym. So I would get on the treadmill and be like anxious and nervous even while I was on there, but then I would like just leave. And eventually I met this fitness instructor. He was this dude, which now looking back, I was pretty young and he was like probably in his 30s, so it was a little sus, but he ended up training me and teaching me everything I know about weightlifting and stuff like that. And at that point I still wanted to get signed pretty badly, and he put me on a macro calorie counting type thing. So I got a little food scale and I was weighing out stuff and reading labels, and I was hyper focused on that, which, you know, again, I feel like I was just in an extreme form of thinking for a long period of time instead of like intuitively eating and like listening to my body, and that's something I'm still working on. But with that being said, my hair was still falling out a bit, but I did enjoy and did notice a difference when I would weightlift. So eventually no longer communicated with him just because it wasn't a good situation, but that kind of put me into counting macros and all of that, which again became like a fixation for me. But again, I did notice like a difference with my body and I liked that, but my hair was still falling out and stuff. So I ended up cutting that and kind of just balancing things out. Flash forward to like current day. I've had a lot of mental health struggles, as you all have probably heard or seen, at least from some sort of post on my socials, and I finally got on meds for it. And one of the side effects of the meds that I'm on is an increase in hunger, and that's been like a real struggle for me because it's hard when you already feel like you don't know what you look like, you have some sort of body dysmorphia, you're hyperfixated on your image because of the line of work that you're in. You know, my socials started popping off, and that's been really weird because like in a 2-year span from being vegan to being like kind of a normal eater, I would say, still very healthy. I've had a lot of comments throughout the years on my body from, you know, my aunts and uncles being like, hey, you need to eat, when I was like being vegan, to like 2 years later people calling me like thick and stuff. And that's just so weird to be called thick whenever you feel like you're still struggling to like eat enough or properly or whatever, you know. It's just really weird. It's like it starts to feel kind of hopeless, like if I'm viewed as thick when I'm still struggling in terms of body image and still struggling to even feel like full, how would people perceive me if I actually ate normal, you know? And that's been kind of a thought process and like something I've struggled with. So anyway, on the meds for anxiety, increasing my hunger, and that's caused me to be like very confused because I feel like I can't listen to my body's cues on hunger. So that's like a whole nother issue now. And I guess like the whole point of me talking about all of this and being so upfront and real, and also like I did this intentionally not getting ready or whatever, because I find that a lot of times when I get ready or, you know, present myself as like a put together person, it really causes me to have issues with being vulnerable. So stuff like that almost feels like a mask to me, and I don't, my idea and the reason kind of I started this channel is to show myself as like a full-bodied person, in the sense of like, you know, my struggles, and presenting myself as like who I am on a day-to-day basis, not just like a photo shoot image of me, you know. And there's gonna be stuff like that. I'm not gonna be exclusively one thing. I think whenever I posted a TikTok a while back talking about how I wanted to focus on like who I am moving forward. And I think a lot of people, whenever I would post like stuff about my body after that, they were like, I thought you were gonna get away from that. And it's like, I can still be hot. I can still thirst trap the hell out of you, bro, while simultaneously having thoughts and ideas and things I need to articulate for my own well-being, and hopefully build a community that sees me as my full-bodied self. And I think that'll be very cathartic for me, very healing, to feel like I'm viewed as myself rather than just one thing, because I think that's what causes ultimately imposter syndrome. And I don't even know if that's possible, right? Like, this is a risk for me. It's been something I've been very afraid to do, is put myself out there as like me first thing in the morning. But I think it's necessary, because I think I want to prove to you all that you don't have to be perfect to go in a direction you want in life, and to build a community, and to build a good life for yourself. Because ultimately no one's perfect. And again, anybody that claims that they are probably has a lot more to hide than what you'd like to admit, or what they'd like to admit. So hopefully you're on this journey with me. Hopefully it made you feel a little less alone, you know, knowing that somebody else struggles, and the images that you see are not the full body picture of who somebody is. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and hopefully this makes you feel a little less alone. So if you like what you see, subscribe, like it, share it, leave a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. But yeah, thank you for listening. I know it was a little long-winded. I will do better at posting. I just didn't have any incentive to post when YouTube took down my video unjustly. But such is life. Anyway, have a great day. Bye.